Today I wanted to talk about mental health miracles, especially during this quarantine here. But before I begin, thanks very much to everyone who's been liking, commenting, subscribing. It's been awesome to have you participate on my channel. Please do subscribe if you like videos about mental health, psychology, relationships, self-improvement, and also interviews with interesting people. And I also got my book, Radical Self-Respect, that's on Amazon too. But back to mental health miracles, I can sometimes forget what a mental health miracle I am. And I try my best to talk to people and help people that currently have mental health issues. And I know there's just a lot of people that just don't believe that it's even possible for them to get better. Now, and I get it because when I was in their shoes, I hardly thought it was possible either. And what was my shoes to begin with? I had extreme social anxiety, almost to the point of having Asperger's or something. I couldn't even speak in complete sentences. I would slur my words. I'd get bullied a lot, and I wouldn't be able to defend myself. I'd use drugs, opiates, and it was just. And then I've had extreme codependency, dependency issues on women, on gambling, on drugs, rapid cycling of bipolar disorder, suicidal idealizations, depression, deep depressions, and sometimes I can forget that that's hardly my reality today. And like say 10 years ago for me when I was 25, extreme anxiety, extreme codependency in relationships where I used women to make myself feel better about myself because I couldn't give myself love and approval. I had no boundaries. I had zero assertiveness. And that's why it was so therapeutic for me and cathartic to write Radical Self-Respect, because it goes from a people-pleasing, codependent person with anxiety to a person who practices radical self-respect. And I gotta tell you, it's certainly possible. Now, let me talk about the elements of what has made this possible for me. A lot of it started in NA, where I was able to gain some self-awareness. I developed a relationship with a higher power. I had a community of people that were supporting me. I learned how to talk about what was going on in my life, to talk about my feelings. And at the time, that was really good for me. I was able to identify some of my defects of character. I was able to see some of my patterns in life and how the same things began to repeat and repeat. And it was awesome. Then other things came along to help me too. Mindset training, listening to positive self-talk, writing down affirmations, and then, of course, my supplement journey. And the supplement journey part of it is absolutely huge because when our consciousness is not as good as it could be, it taints our whole vision. Like living with mental health issues, it's like seeing things through tinted sunglasses. And the depression or the anxiety or whatever your ailment is, it taints the way you see everything. Which is why I always used to say living with untreated mental illness is like living half of a life. We can certainly survive, but it's really difficult to reach our highest potential. And that's what I think I've been given the ability to do today with part of my routine. It's like I'm able to meet my fullest potential now. I couldn't do that before because my anxiety was too great. And then while I was trying out supplements, my rapid cycling was too great. And I was going through too many depressions to really get stuff done. And it was really debilitating me. But if you're in a situation like that now, like I know it must be really difficult when your consciousness is so dark or so fearful or has so much anxiety or you can't get out of bed or you're cycling through manias and depressions. It's like, when that's your reality, it can be really difficult to see past that reality. But I'm here to say it can happen. It happens as long as we continue to try different things. Because if we don't like the results we've currently got, it becomes our responsibility to examine our life and examine our values. And in terms of our mental health routine, it's like if our mental health routine isn't working for us, we have to do something differently. And I'm so thankful that I've gotten the supplements that I take And there's a bunch of stuff that I take. There's many pieces to my puzzle, but I wouldn't give this up for the world. Now, it's not just the supplements though, like I said, the mindset stuff is huge. Diet and exercise, huge. Healthy sleep, huge. Removing drugs and alcohol for the most part, huge. All of these things fit into the puzzle. They are humongous pieces. And I know there's people out there who are stuck using right now, or are taking heavy duty prescription medications and they don't see a way out. But I'm here to tell you, there is a way out of that too. Slowly but surely. There's only one thing there is no way out of, and that's suicide. The old permanent solution to what they think is also permanent problems, but I'm here to say they can be temporary problems and it can get better. We just have to be willing to try different things and to not give up hope and to not be closed-minded to new types of suggestions. And this kind of ties back to one of my previous videos where I was talking about people who are addicted to their struggle. Their struggle has become their identity. And without their struggle, who would they be? They need that struggle to feel alive. They need that struggle to be someone, because who would they be if they didn't have those mental health struggles or drug addiction struggles? And for me, it's like, yeah, I get it. I was there too. I didn't know who I was either. And it was actually really uncomfortable when I stopped having mental health issues because I wasn't able to live. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to go about things as a normal person. I was so used to having to fall back on my unhealthy coping mechanisms, whether it was gambling or extreme binge drinking or women. They were my escape. They were my fail-safe. And part of it was allowing me to not take as much responsibility as I could. It was a way out for me. And I'm not saying it's that way for everybody, but it's been a part of it. And so I had to learn, okay, what do I do if I'm okay? What do I do if I'm not going to binge drink all the time? What do I do if I'm not going to try to find some woman to fix, manage, and save me? What do I do? And yeah, give back is one of the things to do. I have this YouTube channel. A lot of getting better is also just even having goals that make us excited. I can't understate that part enough either. Because if we don't have any goals, if we don't have anything we're looking forward to, it can be really tough. And I definitely caution against tying our goals to other people too. Oh, I want to be married one day with kids. And it's well, we're not in control of that. We can put ourselves out there, but who comes into our life, it's out of our control. All we can really focus on is our own lives. And so, again, to reiterate, if you're struggling right now with depression, you're struggling right now with anxiety, you're struggling right now with bipolar, or a personality disorder like borderline, or even narcissism or drug addiction, out of all those things I just said, it's the least likely that a narcissist will try to get help and get better because they can't recognize when they're wrong, they can't admit they're wrong, and so they can't begin the process of healing. This is true. Although you talk to Sam Vaknin or Richard Grannon, and they say they have methods to try to help narcissists, I can't speak to how well they work, but I do know those methods are out there. But for everyone else I mentioned, the anxiety people, the depression people, the bipolar folks, the addicts, the people with other cluster B personality disorders, it is possible. People with BPD can get better. And a lot of it might be just changing your consciousness a little bit, finding medications that work, or finding a supplement routine that works. I don't care what works, as long as it works, as long as it helps you to become the happiest and healthiest version of yourself. That's it. And I think it's so hard for people to realize that because they don't know what it feels like to have their consciousness changed in a good way that's healthy for them. They don't see it. They may only think their consciousness can be changed via drugs. And that's why they have such a hard time giving up the drugs, because it's the only time they feel alive. It's the only time they feel anything resembling happy. And I get it. I was the same way. I didn't want to give up my opiates because it was the only time I felt any semblance of fulfilled or happy at all. Like I was empty and nothingness without it. I had severe anxiety, no self-esteem, no nothing. And then when I did my opiates, everything was all better. And at the time, it was literally all I needed to think that everything was okay. But here in the recovery world, we gotta find a routine that works for us. And I think part of it for me has been learning a way to integrate my shadow, like my using side, into who I am today. And I can't deny a big part of that for me is my supplement routine, but also Kratom. Kratom really freaking helps me. And it helps me to not act out. It helps me with my depression. It helps me with my anxiety. And just overall kind of puts me in a better mood. And I'm able to get through the days. And like I said, I don't judge anyone's routine. I only care what works for them. That's it. But it is possible. It's possible to be able to find something that does work. And when you're not feeling it, when you're in those dark stages, I get it. You can't even imagine, you can't even fathom the possibility of things being different. But it can be different. It can. You just haven't found the solution yet that works for you. You haven't found the medicine, or you haven't found the supplement routine, or whatever it is. That's the kind of attitude you gotta take. You just haven't found it yet, but you can find it. You can find a routine that works for you. And it's not just with the supplements or medication. There's other things to it too, of course. The diet, exercise, sleep, community, goals, careers, hobbies. They're all part of it too. I always say 50% science, 50% spiritual. Both sides need to be there and working properly, or we're not going to be living at our best. But I'm making this video today so that if someone's really struggling right now, maybe they'll just try another thing. They'll try the next medicine. They'll start trying some different supplements. They'll do something new in their routine. They'll try to find new goals. And just not give up. Because that's the only thing we can't come back from. We can't come back from giving up and committing suicide. There is no coming back from that. And even people with borderline, they can come back too. There are people who have recovered from borderline. It might be rare, but people have recovered. They've been able to have more object consciency. They've been able to not do the push-pull and the black-white thinking and kind of calm down their impulsivity. I think I might be one of those kinds of people where I had borderline traits before, and they're not nearly as bad as they used to be. Now, I don't want to feel like a fraud because I've never been diagnosed with that, but from looking at all those symptoms, I had a hell of a lot of them. And maybe it was CPTSD, maybe it was BPD, I don't really know, and chances are it doesn't really matter. All that really matters is what we're going to do about our problems and how we live. And so, if you're struggling with depression, keep on trying stuff. And it can be magical how the right change of consciousness can really make all the difference. And then, when the consciousness is right, you have the ability for hope. But if the consciousness isn't right, it's really going to be tough, right? It's really going to be tough to find that hope, to find that drive to keep on going. Or if you're living extreme anxiety, it's going to be tough then too. But just know there are methods out there available that can certainly help. And I'm here for you if you need help. If you want to find out more about my routine and what I do, drop me an email. Or if you'd like to talk to me about helping you develop a routine or my opinions on some other things, I'm here for you. And yeah, or go to a new therapist, go to a new psychiatrist if you need to. Find something that works for you. And don't give up until you're at a satisfactory level of consciousness, because I'm here to say it is possible to be at a happy level of consciousness. I didn't believe it was possible either. When I was in high school, you couldn't have told me that I would be able to speak confidently, ever, unless I was drunk or high. I just wouldn't have believed you. But here I am, have a YouTube channel. I feel better at 35 than I ever have. And I'm just taking this time to reiterate how grateful I am that I've gotten to where I am now. Now, I have not accomplished all of my goals, no, but I am still working towards them. And I want to help you guys out there if you're struggling with one of the things I mentioned, whether it's addiction, mental health, and personality disorders, Now, I know I'm not a therapist or a counselor, but if you just want someone to relate to that's been through some of those things, I'm here. So with that, thank you for watching. Drop some comments below on what you think about this video, and have a great day.